amazing!
You are welcome to today's lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning how to link CSS files to HTML files. I'm Asante Patrick Role Model, and I'm your facilitator. In our previous videos, we created this folder, Rose Consult. Inside of Rose Consult, we have test site. Inside of test site, we have HTML, images, script, styles, and the rest. Inside of HTML, we created these two files, index.html and social.html. So for the sake of this lesson, we'll be creating a new file. We are going to call it css.html. So new file, css.html. Okay, so there we are. We are now inside of our file, css.html, and we'll have to get a structure. So this our HTML document structure. That's what we have over here now. Let's fill in and start something up. So let's give it a heading of H1, and we are going to call it CSS linkage. CSS linkage. Okay, let's give it some paragraph. Let's say the paragraph is very simple. I am learning CSS with Rose Consult. Okay, we don't want consult, we need consult rather. So that's basically the file, everything that our CSS file will contain. So let's run it and see if we'll get the output, the expected output. Okay, so there we are. We have CSS linkage as our heading. Then we have I'm learning CSS with Rose Consult. So that's basically that. Let's come back. Then there are the three ways in which the style or the CSS can be added. The first way, as we learned in our previous video, is by using what? Inline, or is by inline method. And we said inline method will be using style attribute, and we'll use it inside of the HTML element in which we would want to apply our style or CSS. So in this case, I would want to apply it to my H1. So I will just have to add a style attribute. Then I will okay, so my style attribute, sorry, this is not where I need it. Then I will need a colon and double quote or single quote, whichever one that you want. I will want to change the color to maybe I'll want to change the color to red. I will need a colon. Sorry, I will need equal to here rather. Equal to. Then here I will need a colon. Jaguayo, a colon, then maybe I will change my color to red. So that's inline method. Let's see if it works. Okay, so there we are. We have CSS linkage in red now. So that's basically inline method of what? Adding CSS to our files. Inline method of adding CSS to our file. Then we'll come back and look at the next method of doing this. The next method that we studied in our previous video was internal method, and we said with internal method you will be using the style element inside of your head element. So we are inside of our head element now, and we will need a style element in order to accomplish this task. Okay, so I have my style, that's the opening tag of the style. Then we'll also have a closing what? A closing tag for our style. We also have a closing tag for our style. Okay, we will need a backslash symbol to complete this. Then we'll need a what? A style. So this style element, we have the opening tag and the closing tag. Inside of this, I would like to apply the style towards h1. Okay, so I have h1. Then I will need curly braces. The inside of the curly braces, I would apply whatsoever that I want to. I will apply whatsoever that I would want to apply to my head or h1 element. You get it? So let's take it on. So in this case I'll be applying the color what? Red. Is that not so? So this is what? Internal method of applying CSS files. You get it? Internal method. So let's run it and see. Okay, so we have CSS linkage, and I'm learning with rules consult. So as we can see, it is also working. This is internal. I hope we are following. Then let me see if I would be able to change the color also of my paragraph element. I will just need curly braces, then maybe another color again. Just stop that color. Then I will also equate this. Which color do you want? Okay, so let's take blue and see if it works. Blue. Okay, so it is also working. We have CSS linkage, and we have I'm learning CSS with rules consult. I hope we are following. So that's how to apply CSS to our files using the internal method. We specified exactly when to use inline, internal, and then external. So if you don't know, you will have to watch our previous video in order to be clear on that. Okay, so we'll move on to the next method. The next method says we should use what? An external method. External method requires that we write our code outside of our HTML file. So as you can see, I've taken off or I've deleted the style element with its declarations and other stuff of it. I hope you understand. So this is our HTML file empty. Let's run it for the sake of clarity. So let's run it and see the outcome. Okay, so you see that we have everything back in the color that was black, right? That was black. So as you can see, we don't have any color or CSS applied to this for now. So we'll go back and rewrite a CSS file. So we'll go back into our styles folder. Inside of our styles folder, we have style.css. Please, I hope you know the reason why we are using .css. If you don't, you'll have to go back and watch our previous videos on dealing with files so that you will understand better. So we have style.css, and we'll have to take this thing off. We don't need it here. So let's say I want my h1 to have a different color. Is that not so? So h1, then I will set my color to, we always want red, right? We always want red, so my color to red. Is that not so? Then that's it. So if I go to my HTML file, I should see my heading in the color red. Is that not so? No, we wouldn't see it like that. Why? Okay, let's see. So let's go back. We go into our HTML folder. We go to css.html. I hope this is what we're dealing with. So let's view it and see if it really changes to red. That CSS linkage will change to red. So there we are. It didn't. Why? Because there is no communication between this file, that's css.html, and style.css, which is inside of our styles folder. We will have to create a way they would be able to communicate, and we say we use the link element here. The link element, I have a short form for it here, so let me try and get it here. So I have CSS linkage. So we say that we use the link element. You should know that the link element is an empty element, and it always have this attribute. The real attribute is always set to style sheet. Then href, that's hypertext reference, is also the path of our file that we would want to link. The path, because we are inside of HTML folder, we'll have to go outside with 2 dots and a backslash symbol, right? So we are now outside of our HTML folder. We'll have to go inside of our styles folder, because that's where our style.css is located. We go inside by writing the name with a backslash symbol after the name. Then we'll go inside and take our style.css, CSS. So that's it, right? We take our style.css. Bye. So let's see if now it works. Okay, so it is now working. I hope we understand. So the 3 ways that you would be able to link CSS files to HTML files are: 1, inline method. That's by using the style attribute inside of the HTML element you would want to apply the style to. Then 2, the internal method. That's by using the style element inside of the head region. Then 3, external method. That's by writing the CSS file outside of our HTML file, and providing a way they will communicate with each other inside of the head region or the head element, using the link element inside of the head element. So that's it. I hope you understand everything. If you have any problem, you can comment below or message at me privately.